Going live, and you are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 16-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. Why the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody at all out there going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I thank you so much, greatly from the bottom of my heart. Or anybody spends any time at all watching any part of replay of this, once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You guys absolutely rock. I greatly appreciate it. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here, all right, as I always try to do. Anybody got anything to say? I check on the chat box every so often, so anybody got anything to say, just, throw something in the chat box. I usually respond to pretty much to any comment that goes in there, usually because there's not, if there are any comments, there ain't too many of them, so I usually respond to, all of them. Okay. So anybody, feel free, just throw something in the chat box and I will respond to it. All right. Before we get started, if you want to help support my channel, I would greatly appreciate it so much. There's at the description box, the top link, there's a link you can click on. You can help join my channel, help support my channel. It means so much to me. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, the second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and then the third one really helps support my channel is called the Gridiron. All right, each one's got their own little perks. There's loyalty badges, there's different emojis. I'm going to have I have 4 emojis right now. I'll be coming out with a 5th one soon. Okay, so if anybody want to help support my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. It means so much to me. And if you're not subscribed, right, please click the subscribe button below, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put out a video, you'll be notified. And then also in the description box below, I have there's a group. Actually, there's 2 pages I have, but one of the pages I'm more active in right now. But there's I think it's probably the top one, Facebook link is the group. Okay, right now we have over 1,800 members. Okay, please feel free to click on the link there and become a member of the group, the Gridiron. Every day there's usually like 4 or 5 things I put in there every day. Usually every day of the week, I'm always putting stuff in there every day. And then below that, there's another one. It's called oddly enough, it's called the Gridiron. It's a page, though. Okay, and what I do is I put stuff in there. Same thing every day. I put 4 or 5 different things in there. Now, what I got right now, there's 258 people who like it. There's 303 people who follow it. So click on that link, like it, follow it, and I said every day. Usually every day between the page and the group, I'm putting 3, 4, 5 different things in there every day. So there's new stuff being updated in there. Plus, in the group. People from the group, they add their own stuff in there as well. Okay, so feel free to join, like, subscribe, follow, and all that stuff and everything. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. But now let's get back down to business here, right? Going over the player and team grades. Okay, for after the Giants. Yeah. Kind of remind me a little bit of like the Joe Judge era. You know what I mean? Just the whew. It's 27-13, but it's one of those. It could have been better, could have been worse. You know what I mean? Like if Adoree Jackson didn't punch the ball out, giving us field position at the 2-yard line, and we didn't score our only touchdown. Could have been 27-6. Could have been even worse, right? Could have been better if Richie James, just say to Duke, just can't fair caught the ball. Just, hey, I'm going to fumble the ball, so hey, let's do this. Give me one of these, ref. Ooh, all right, we're starting right here. Okay, I fair caught it, right? Right, ref? Okay, so I didn't fumble it, right? Okay, that's all you had to do, right? There's 10 less points the Seahawks would have. Right. So I guess that's his 3rd fumble he's lost this year. So yeah. Not seeing him return punts anymore for the Giants. It's a shame because in the beginning of the season, game, I can't remember what one. I think he caught like 4 or 5 balls, had a nice punt return here or there. bad. Okay, I think we got something there with this Richie James. All right, I remember one of the press conferences after. It was after, I don't know if it was right after the game or whatever it was. He had his hair all, I'm not sure what that is, but his hair all out, multicolored and all that and everything. And, they were asking him, hey, I just do what I do. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Hey, yeah. Yeah, now you're doing what you do. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, you'll be sitting on the bench quite a bit. Yeah, enjoy it. So, I mean, woo. Boy, that was it. I'll tell you what, there's every now and then you get them tough games to watch, and that was a tough one. I mean, it's like every time your offense goes out there, it's like, yep, yeah, we probably we had 2 nice drives. That was it. Pretty much that was it. I mean, the 3 and outs and just, oh my God, painful to watch. That was a very painful. I mean, I wish I'd gone to my dentist about 4:00. Got the shot of Novocaine, right? Came home that way by 4:30. It'd start taking some effect. That way I'd be a little numb just watching. It was just painful. It was like getting a root canal. It was not something you really wanted to say. But okay, so we have the players, okay, their grades. I'm going to start off with the offense. Okay, and good old Darius Slayton. Okay, I mean he was it 5 catches he had, I believe it was. So thankfully we got him. So we got Wan'Dale Robinson. Maybe I said after the bye week, maybe against the Texans, we can get Kenny Golladay back, and maybe maybe we can actually find a way to get him the ball, right? But Darius Slayton was in there for 48 plays. Okay, led the team 75.6. Okay, very very good. Yeah, he's had a couple of games. He had it. Which was it? Was it last week? He had a clunker. Yeah. Against Baltimore, it's 47.9. But Green Bay, right? He's 89.6. Then he had the little clunker. But in the past 2 games, Jacksonville, he was a 67.4. And against the Seahawks, he was a 75.6. So, I mean, very, very pleasant surprises. Okay, very pleasant surprise. So, thankfully, okay, for the Giants' sake, we didn't trade him away or anything like that. Okay. John Feliciano. I mean, it's kind of odd to see. I mean, as getting sacked 5 times and not being able to run the ball. We had like 200 and some odd amount of total offensive yards, and so it's kind of hard to believe that actually our second and third highest ranked guys were guys on the offensive line. John Feliciano was a 70.4. Andrew Thomas was a 68.5. Andrew Thomas's pass blocking rate was a 91.1. Right. Tanner Hudson was in there for 47 snaps. I mean, he had to be because, Daniel Bellinger's hurt. Tanner Hudson, 67.5. His pass blocking was only 26.1. So he's not in there for his pass block or his run blocking. His run blocking is a 32.7. So he's a little bit of a liability when it comes to blocking. Saquon Barkley graded out as 67.1. Mark Lewinsky, the right guard, graded out as 61.7. Then we had Jack Anderson. He was in there for 1 snap. Gary Brightwell's in there for 1 snap, graded out of 60. David Sills was in there for 10 snaps, graded out of 58.9. Chris Myrick was in there for 30 snaps, graded out of 57.6. Good old Nick Gates, left guard, okay, was in there for 5 run blocking snaps. Cool. 56.6. So basically for his first time in 14 months, about 14 months or so it's been, for him to go out there, 5 snaps, 56.6, happy to see him out there. So happy. So hopefully, obviously we got the bye, right? So hopefully his pitch count will go up maybe a little bit more against the Texans. We'll see how well he does. Obviously, if he keeps struggling, his pitch count may not go up significantly. But I mean, if he maybe keeps getting a little bit better, maybe his pitch count might keep going up. Maybe it might 10, 15 snaps, whatever. Maybe when we want to play in the Lions, who knows, 15, 20, 25 snaps against the Lions, right? Because then we can certainly use him in there, some extra depth Absolutely. So, but it was just fantastic to have him on the field, even if it was only for 5 snaps. I'm sure the freaking guy was thrilled to die. I mean, even though the Giants lost and all that, he probably flew on just by himself on the way home. He didn't need an airplane. For him to go through all that freaking bullshit that he had to go through just to make it back onto the field again, just those 5 snaps alone, the guy was probably higher than the freaking plane that they were on when they came back home. I mean, and good for him. Good for him. So happy for him. I hope he keeps getting a little bit better, a little bit better, and a little bit better, because we can certainly use him, and he's a hell of a freaking guy to have on your team too. Then Matt Breida was in there for 14 snaps, 56.4. Wan'Dale Robinson was in there for 45 snaps, graded out of 56. Tyree Phillips was right tackle. He had he's graded out of 55.3. Okay, Richie James was only in there for 4 snaps, 54.8. Let me see here. I want to see what Richie James. Let's see. Richie James graded out here. Let's see here. That's the offense. Let's go to special teams. Can we? Special teams. Special teams. There you go. What did Richie James grade out at? Special teams. Oh yeah. Against Seattle. His punt return. He graded out at 28.3. Yeah. So that's what happens when you lose 2 fumbles. Yeah. But I mean, it's like it would say when he was at San Francisco. His grade it was San Francisco in 2020. Okay, his grade, he graded out his punt return was a 30.2. This year it's a 41.5. Right, against Chicago, he graded at 39.5. I believe that might have been when he had his other fumble that he lost. But it was 28.3. That's what he graded out at. Special teams. I mean, whew. So he was in there for 4 snaps. So, but you'll notice, like, he seems, I guess, maybe kind of falling out of favor a little bit. Against Green Bay, he was in there for 33 snaps. Baltimore for 22 snaps. Then, whatever, last week or whatever you want to call, against Jacksonville, 7 snaps. This past week against the Seahawks, 4 snaps. Okay, so his amount of time he's going on the field is going down, and it might even go down even farther. So, well, I have to wait and see. Lawrence Cager, the tight end, okay, who they called up off the practice squad, right, to give us our 3rd tight end. He was in there for 12 snaps, 5 pass snaps, and 7 run blocking snaps, graded out of 54.3. So, all in all, guy off the practice squad, can't complain. Marcus Johnson was in there for 56 snaps, 51.2. Joshua Zudu was in there for that left guard, 65 snaps. He graded out of 50.2. Again, Daniel Jones, worst game of the year for him by far. He graded out of 38.3. 38.3. Yeah, it was not pretty. It was just not pretty. All right, then we go to the defensive side of the ball. Okay. Adoree Jackson. Now I'm a little, I don't know, because he got burned for a touchdown. So I don't know. They got his pass, PFF has his pass coverage grade as an 89.9. He was the top guy, 87.9. Leonard Williams was the 2nd highest one. There you go. He finally had he had his good, right? Seems like maybe he's starting to get a little more healthier, because when he came back the first couple of weeks, he, nothing super duper special. Okay, you were kind of hoping maybe get a little more out of him than what he did, but yesterday against the Seahawks, graded out an 80.8. Toman Fox, right, graded out a 79.5. Let me see here. Toman Fox. He's had some good ones. He's had some bad ones. I mean, against Baltimore, the Ravens, he graded out a 32.4. But this was his highest grade of the year. His run defense was an 85.8. Very, very good. Very, very good. He graded out 79.5, Toman Fox. So hopefully he can keep getting better. Right? Micah McFadden had his first sack, right, of his season or his career, right? He graded at a 71.9. Dane Belton was in there for just 10 snaps, 68.7. Julian Love, 68.1. Dexter Lawrence, 64.7. Jalen Smith, 62.9. I think he rebounded because I think last week, was it last week? Yeah, actually the past 2 weeks. Yeah. The first 2 games he played against Chicago and Green Bay, he played, according to Pro Football Focus, he graded out very well. Then week 6 against Baltimore, he graded out at 27.1. He had a rough day. Then against Jacksonville, he graded out at 47.2. That wasn't very, very good. Right. But, against the Seahawks, he had 62.9 overall. Okay. His run defense was very good. His tackling was very, very good. Okay. So, yeah, he had a good day. He had a good day. All right. And Nick Williams, I believe he got injured and left. I don't think he came back on the field. He was in there for just 10 snaps, 62.6. Fabian Moreau, 61. Another steady performance from him. Landon Collins was only in there for 7 snaps. Odd. One run defense, 2 pass rush, and 4 in the coverage. Graded out of 61. I don't quite understand. I guess it's just the packages that they have because the week before that he played in 23 snaps. So here they elevated him once again. He only played in 7 snaps. Kayvon Thibodeau played in 50 snaps. He graded out 55.1. His tackling was at 24.2. He must have missed some tackles. Same thing with Xavier McKinney. He was in there for 64 snaps, graded out of 55, but his tackling was at 29.6. Darnay Holmes, graded out of 50.9. Tay Crowder, he's had another tough game. His tackle was at 23.4, but he was in there for 22 snaps at 48.5. He's having a rough year. He's nowhere near the amount of tackles he had last year. He's had a lot of. He's had we played 8 games. He's graded out in the. He's graded out at 30 or below 4 times. So I have to see week 1 against Tennessee, graded out at 29. Then he graded out at 30 against Carolina. He graded out 29 against Baltimore, 29.2 against Jacksonville. This week it was a 48.5. So he, his tackling is just, his run defense and tackling is just, he having a hard time shedding blocks. If guys get latched onto him, it's pretty much over. Right? He's only 235 pounds. He's a good athlete, but what you need is, a lot of times, the guys get to the second level. You got the guys like him, to have to take on the block, shed the block, and make the tackle. And he's just not doing that. Right? So another rough game. So, that's someplace that the Giants need to, look at in the offseason as well. Obviously we got quite a few spots, but the inside linebackers, need to be a little more stout. Because a lot of what Sexy Dexter does, is, he eats up blocks. Okay. So he's not going to have nine tackles a game. Right? He just eats up people. Okay. That's what he does. Okay. Maybe get some pressure on the quarterback just going up the middle, on passing situation. But in the running downs, he just eats up the blocks. He eats up people, so you make the tackles, okay? So if he's eating up people and you're not making the tackle, Houston, we got a problem. And that's what a lot of our the inside linebacker, we're just having, or the guys maybe walk up in the box. We did a decent job yesterday, although the one that Kenneth Walker ran in, I know Tay Crowder had a rough play on that one. Definitely had a rough play on that one. Justin Ellis was in there for 24 snaps. He graded out of 47. Nick McLeod was in there for 33 snaps, graded out of 46.7. Ellison Smith, good to see him on the field. Oh, he's only on there for 7 snaps. Good to see him on the field. Graded out of 31. Hopefully better times are ahead for him. And Jihad Ward graded out of 29.6. I think this is back-to-back weeks he's had. Yeah. He's had some good games. he's had some rough games. I mean, this week was a 29 against Jacksonville, graded out of 42. Green Bay graded out of 43. Carolina graded out of 44. But then against Tennessee, it was a 69.7. The Cowboys, it was a 63.8. You know, so he's had some good, some bad. But this game here by far was his worst. He graded out of 39 in coverage. He gave up one reception. There was one target, gave up one reception for 16 yards. Right? That's one of the reasons why his coverage grade was bad. But it is what it is. So that was the offense, and that was the defense. And now let's go to the team grade, okay? So now the Giants got no love, like, whatsoever when they were 6-1. So I'm sure now after this, after the debacle in Seattle, I'm sure they're going to get even less love, okay? So let's take a look here. Overall team grade. Let's see here. Who's up? Buffalo. Oh, okay. The Eagles are 87.4. Let's see, the Giants. Giants are number 31, 64. The offensive grade. Chiefs number 1, 82.4. Giants number 25. We're at a 66.5. Passing grade. Eagles 84.6. That's because they have all their wide receivers and their tight end. Everybody's healthy. Offensive line's healthy. Everybody's healthy. Nobody's hurt. So when you have absolutely nobody hurt and you play easy teams, your grade, looks like an 84.6. Let's see here. The Giants passing grade, they're number 23. They're at 61.3. Pass blocking, Eagles are number 1, 78. Giants are number 16, 64. Receiving grade, Chiefs number 1, 81.5. The Giants. Giants are down there. Giants are where? Giants are number 29, 64.1 on the receiving grade. Running grade. The Browns, 90.9. Holy crap. Giants, 80.7. Even after yesterday. It's hard to believe. It's on 80.7. Run blocking. The Bears, number 1, 77.6. Is basically that's about the only thing they can do is run the ball. Run blocking. The Giants are number 13. 62.2. Defensive grade here. Jets are number 1. 80. Jets, 83.8. Giants. Way down there. Number 29. Holy cow. 54.5. Wow. Run defense. The Rams, 82.7. Giants, wow, 48.9 run defense. Wow. Giants number 26. Tackling. What we got? Tackling. Giants. Not too bad. Giants are 61.9. Colts are first, 78.4. Pass rush. Cowboys number 1, 84.6. Giants pass rush. Wow. 65.3. We're number 25 at the pass rush. Coverage grade. Broncos number 1, 90.7. And the Giants way down there. Giants number 29, 50.8 the coverage grade. Special teams. I'm sure the Giants are. Titans number 1, Titans at 91.5. And then there's 3 teams at 91.4. Wow. But the Giants number 24, 61.3 overall special teams grade. So the Giants don't get a heck of a lot of love. All right, now finally here, what I seen was one of the reasons why I was kind of like the Giants may not, I seen this article, trade for like, I guess maybe quote unquote number 1 wide receiver. Right, it was in this article here. It says the Broncos asking price for Jerry Jeudy is just too steep for the Giants. So let's see here. In the immediate aftermath of the Denver Broncos win in London, we learned from the ESPN insider Adam Schefter that GM George Patton is reluctant to trade wide receivers Jerry Jeudy and KG Hamler. Both young wideouts contributed mightily to the Giants' 21-17 victory over the Jaguars. Based on reporting from team insiders across the league, Jeudy in particular is a name in high demand with the NFL trade deadline barreling down on Tuesday. However, the Broncos aren't going to deal Jeudy for a song and a dance. They'll take an offer that Patton can't refuse. So, I mean, that's going to be the one problem. Giants do have interest in Jeudy, but the price would have to be right. And the last I checked, the Broncos wanted a lot for him. So, I mean, the Giants, I can see maybe the Giants, I don't know. I mean, Giants giving up a 1. But I mean, if they want like a 1 and a 3 and a 4, because with Hill, what was he, like 5 draft picks, right? So I mean, do they want like 3 draft picks for him? So that's where it winds up getting a little, sticky. Plus, not only that, but then then the Giants, obviously might have to wind up, taking over his salary as well too. So I mean, that might be one of the reasons here. The Giants might have to, trade away, some of their draft. I mean, they can go out and try to get, maybe it won't be somebody maybe quite as good as Jeudy, but I mean, they might have to try to go out and get somebody in the draft, or maybe try to get somebody free agent, but they need a number 1. Okay. And they even if Sterling Shepard comes back now, he's not a number 1. Kenny Golladay is gone. Kadarius Toney is gone. Wan'Dale Robinson's not a 1. The Giants do not have a 1. Okay, we got I don't even know if Sterling Shepard's coming back. So, I mean, maybe Wan'Dale's a 2. But, I mean, I don't know who number 3 is. I mean, I know we're going to keep Darius Slayton, but we need a 1. But, I mean, I said, you also look at a lot of the teams out there, some of them that are really putting up some points and all, they got like a 1 and a 1A. I said, I keep looking at talking about the Eagles all the time. Okay, what they got a fantastic offensive line. Of course, nobody's hurt. Unlike the Giants, every week the Giants keep losing guys left and right. Although I think this week we came out kind of healthy. But I mean, the 7 weeks prior, every week the Giants are losing guys left and right. Well, not the Eagles. Eagles going with 53 guys. After the game's over, all 53 walk off the field, singing, dancing, doing the Macarena. Everybody's happy and healthy, right? Nobody's hurt at all. Nobody even has a hangnail. But I mean, Jalen Hurts goes back there, right? He's got great protection from his offensive line because nobody's hurt. He's got Goddard, right? His number 1, why his tight end. Why? Because he's not hurt, unlike our guy. Then he's got, they got AJ Brown, right? Why they got him? Well, because he's not hurt. And then they got DeVonta Smith. Why? Because he's not hurt either. So they got like 3 weapons out there. Okay, you got to, Goddard's a very good tight end. However, he's also somewhat the product because he's tall, and he's somewhat the product because a lot of the attention gets put on to Smith and Brown. Okay, but the Giants don't have anybody. We got Hudson and James and Sills and Myrick running, Kager running around out there. I mean, like, the Seahawks, Metcalf out there, right? Tyler Lockett, right? They got 2 really good receivers. Giants have nobody at all. So I mean, it's the Giants. I mean, I said you look at like Waddle, right? With the they got Hill, right, and Waddle. They got 1A, they got 1 and 1A, or 1A and 1B, however you want to look at it. Right. They got 2 studs out there, 2 guys, right? They can just, Waddle's great at running routes. Hill's taking the top off the defense. You got 2 guys that can just run out there and just scare the crap out of a defense, right? Giants had nobody, absolutely nobody. Okay. So, I mean, that's, I don't know if Shane wants to, mortgage the future for, trying to get, I heard they were talking that, it was like DJ Moore, Michael Thomas. I seen an article about the Giants maybe inquiring about Michael Thomas from the Saints, right? But I got this other article here from the Post. Joe Schoen likely to keep Giants' long-term vision in mind at trade deadline. So unfortunately, right, the key to figuring that out, determine what first year Joe Schoen is thinking about his team 8 games into the season. Joe Schoen is a first-time general manager, and there is no way in the world he expected his team of a rebuild to produce such a gaudy record at Halloween, or that there is realistic expectation for the Giants to be squarely in a playoff hunt as Thanksgiving rolls in. The Giants said the Giants could possibly be 8-2 going into Thanksgiving, right? And I don't think there's any way in hell they're going to beat the Cowboys, because we just can't beat the Cowboys. But unfortunately, if we're going in there banged up in this, Thanksgiving could be not a very good Thanksgiving. But sitting at 6-2 puts Schoen in a position to be a buyer and not a seller. There's no doubt Schoen wants to add pieces to the roster so that Dable does not have to continue to engage in weekly low-scoring tight battles that could go either way, putting too much pressure on Dable and Daniel Jones, right, and his staff to outmaneuver rather than outplay opponent game after game. It's a tough situation. There's also no doubt Schoen looks at the team he built for 2022 and realizes its limitations and understands he cannot scrap his long-term range goals just because the Giants are ahead of schedule in the short term. Winning 6 of his first 8 games after this franchise won 4 games all last season is a tremendous achievement and a strong endorsement of the Schoen-Dable pairing. There is every reason to believe Schoen will not do anything to sabotage his plans for 2023 for the sake of instant gratification for the stretch run. So, we have 9 draft picks now that we got rid of Tony, okay? We might get a couple compensatory picks. So we might even have another 11 draft picks next year. Then you couple the 11 draft picks that we have next, possibly 11, right? Don't want to jump the gun, but we're looking at possibly 11 draft picks next year, okay? A first, a second, and, we've got 11, but we're going to have one, a first, a second, and 2 in the third. Okay, so in the top 100, we're going to have hopefully 4 picks in the top 100. Okay, then we're going to have some salary cap space. But let's not forget, I don't know what we're going to do with Daniel Jones, right? We don't have Saquon Barkley signed next year. So, if somehow we're going to wind up, maybe re-signing Daniel Jones, franchise tagging him, who knows? If we sign him long-term, well, what we can do, right? Just write it out where like next year he only counts 20 million, 15 million against the cap. Save us some money. Maybe sign Saquon at 7, 8, 10 million. Maybe if he'll take that. So between Daniel Jones and Saquon, right? We'll only go maybe 25. So maybe against the cap next year. And maybe we can go out and sign maybe one little juicy player. Maybe if we, I'm not sure who's available, who we're looking for. If we're looking for like a cornerback, or maybe try to get a wide receiver. I said maybe we can bring a stud wide receiver in here, like what the Eagles did. They got AJ Brown in. How much of a freaking huge help, right? And I said, and maybe draft another stud. Then we got Wan'Dale Robinson, right? Daniel Bellinger. If we can draft a stud, right? Maybe get a stud in free agency, right? Because we're going to have some money, but we're not going to be going hog wild crazy. Because we got some holes, but we can do some hole filling with the 11 draft picks we got. Okay. But, obviously there's other positions that the Giants need help with too. I said the inside linebacker, we need help there too. All right. But the Giants will have some money next year. But wait and see exactly what happens. But according to these articles and all that I'm reading, don't look for the Giants to hit a grand slam, because that tomorrow, I guess, is the end of the trade deadline, and don't look for the Giants. I'd be shocked Giants trade for Jerry Jeudy, give up a first, a third, and a fourth or something like that, I'd be shocked about that. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. But if the trade deadline comes and goes and the Giants still have the same guys on the roster, don't be surprised. It's just, Shane is just trying to do what's best long-term for the team. And I probably, what these articles I'm hearing and all that, reading and everything, is that him mortgaging some draft picks to get a wide receiver in here for this year to help us out just may not quite be in the plan. So, I mean, look for us maybe to, hit it hard next year as far as with the wide receivers, next year, maybe in free agency, maybe in the draft. I ain't telling Daboll or any of those guys nothing. They need talent. Right. And, yesterday was a perfect example of it. And, you can't go in there every game. Okay, we're going to hold it down low and we'll find a way to win at the end. It's you're playing Russian roulette there. You're spinning the thing and okay, we'll keep it low. We'll win this one. I mean, that's all you're doing week in and week out. And you saw yesterday when the defense finds a way to shut you down, right? And you can't do nothing about it because you have no talent, you're screwed. Okay. So, it is what it is, but that's what I think is going to wind up happening. I think we're going to wind up having the same guys on the roster. But it is what it is. But we got the bye week. Hopefully we can get some guys back healthy, which will help the team. Okay. And then I said, these next two games will be huge for the Giants. 6-2. We got two, teams that we can beat at home coming in. And I tell you what, if we go 8-2, right, we'll have 7 games left. If we can win like 2 or 3 of those last 7 games, because we got some hard games. 2 against the Eagles. We got 1 against the Vikings. We got the Cowboys. I mean, for some reason we can't beat the Cowboys. We have a hard time beating the Eagles, right? The Vikings on the road. The Vikings only lost 1 game, and that was to the Eagles. Okay, so we got some tough games, right? But if we can win these next 2 and go 8-2, then you look at, okay, all we got to do is out of these last 7 is win a couple games, and we should be able to sneak into the playoffs. Okay, and I tell you what, man, for the first year, for the Giants to go from what the frick they had last year, the salary cap situation had, the lack of talent we have, this, that, and all the injuries we have and all that. And if we can sneak into the playoffs, I mean, you can't, even if we lose the first round of the playoffs, if we can sneak into the playoffs, you can't be bummed out. You can't be bummed out at all. Because, we got, with this coaching staff and all that, we got into the playoffs. If we get some more talent, get some more draft picks, more talent and all that, better times are ahead of us, right? Well, guys, it's been 38 minutes. Anybody spend any time at all, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Or anybody spends any time watching any part of this replay, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are the absolute best. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.